Over the past 15 years, the NBA has seen a steady increase in three-pointers and a decrease in mid-range jumpers nearly every year. In 2005, the average number of three-point attempts per game was 15.8. Last season, that mark was more than double that at 34.5. In fact, Steph Curry himself attempted 12.7 threes a night in the 2021 season. However, this change hasn't come without its controversy. Former players such as Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley have publicly criticized the analytical backing of threes over twos when the Nuggets blew a 4-on-1 fast break to win the game by passing up an open rim attempt for a three. Famous NBA fan Ikam Nagra, known as Ball Don't Stop, blamed renowned stat nerds for brainwashing teams into taking threes over open layups, even though it was just a simple crunch time miscommunication. Actually, if you want to look at these analytics, rim attempts are still by far the most valuable shot in the league. The graph on your screen shows the rounded averages of the expected points per shot attempt in the three zones. As you can see, this is why the most attempted shots are in the paint and why they're just so valuable. The graph also shows why mid-range attempts have gone down, while the opposite has occurred for threes. But the mid-range jump shot still holds tremendous value for NBA teams and players alike. Why? Let's get right into it. Before we get into that, thank you. Yes, thank you for all the massive support on our last video, which amassed over 10,000 views and over 400 likes while helping us surpass the 100 sub count. It really means a lot for us here in the channel in general. But with that said, let's try to hit 300 subs after this video. Barely 10% of you guys have watched the last videos, are subscribed, so if you enjoy the content, be sure to hit that red subscription button. It would really help us out. But with that out of the way, let's actually get into the video. Now, the fact that the mid-range is dead is simply a myth, and I don't know why people believe that. While even the most efficient mid-range jump shooters won't match the statistical output of a top-tier outside shooter or dominant slasher, it can still be the engine of somebody's scoring repertoire if perfected like a Chris Paul, KD, or DeMar DeRozan. That was proven in this year's postseason, as not only did it power Chris Paul's game, but the Suns' offense as a whole next to Devin Booker's virtuoso performances. Despite being a mid-range heavy offense in the post-Morey Ball era, Phoenix managed to rank 7th in offensive rating in the regular season and 10th in the playoffs while reaching the NBA Finals. If you're a lead offensive creator, then it's even arguable having an in-between game is essential, so I promise you, unless it's Jim Boylan, no coach is going to tell their superstar to not shoot long twos. And for offensive players who aren't the maestros that a Kevin Durant or Chris Paul is, the mid-range is pretty well summed up with this quote from former star Jamal Crawford.
The mid-range shot is like a jab in boxing. Yeah. It keeps you honest. So the thing about it is, just like everybody knows they want threes and layups, the defense knows that too. And shot is right there. You see a Kevin Durant or a Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or CP and all these great players are killing teams with that. It's a jab. It keeps you honest. You don't know if they're coming all the way to the hole, if they're pulling up. And once you get that mid-range shot, it's a layup if you work on it. Like it's a 15-footer. It's the in-between game.
And he's right. Even look at a guy like Steph Curry, the most excellent shooter of all time, and on paper, by his shot values, he should be taking a three or layup every single possession. But that's simply not how basketball works. He's a great mid-range shooter, and he needs that in his bag to keep the defense honest. Instead, it's the role of the players and the offensive maintainers, as dubbed by Jordan Sperber, who have been relegated to a diet of threes and shots at the rim. And this is because they're the thing that's changed over the past 20 years. The floor spacing. While creators like Chris Paul and Devin Booker set up possessions and call out plays, players like Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges space out the floor on the weak side to maintain room for those guys to operate in, as opposed to how players would just be in no man's land a lot of the time a half-decade ago. Shooters like J.J. Redick and Duncan Robinson were taught to sidestep into threes instead of taking long twos, and they talked about it in a podcast episode, but that's not how it works for a KD, a Kawhi Leonard, or a LeBron James, or any other star creator, because, again, they're the offensive superstars. They're the guys defenses game plan for, and the guys' offensive game plans are built around. For role players and shooters like that, it's a difference of value on average worth around 35%. That's just not how it is for all-stars. Even after the analytics curve that's been going on the past decade and some years, how does the mid-range still have so much value? Well, for one, basketball can't be minimized to percentages on a stat sheet. There's a lot more that goes on. In response to the weight of threes and layups, defenses have become more and more reliant on drop coverage over the years, a scheme involving a pick-and-roll defense in which the big helps away off an open three and then drops to eliminate open twos by giving up open 15-footers. I mean, that's the oversimplified version, at least. Drops are only exemplified in the playoffs, where defenses make adjustments to limit the most efficient shots in basketball even further. The tougher opposing defenses get, the more valuable it is to have a soft creator like Devin Booker, like Chris Paul, like Chris Middleton, who finished first, second, and third in mid-range field goal makes, respectively, and this is where the mid-range shot becomes so valuable. When left unchecked, these guys, as well as the KDs and Kawhis of the world, will generate up to a point per possession from 50% looks on these 15 to 20-foot attempts, equaling high-level offense and single-handedly killing teams and their coverages. To cover these threats, defenses will bring more attention toward them, meaning fewer players either A, protecting the rim, or B, protecting the arc. This gravity, in turn, opens up many more opportunity for drives, cuts, and open threes for offenses, creating meta value, a term coined by Ben Taylor, in which defenses are put into a conundrum having to worry about defending all three levels of scoring. And as put by coach Stan Van Gundy, it's why, quote, the guys that can score at every level are the guys that are really, really good because they can adjust to what the defense is giving them, end quote, and why capable mid-range creators are still so valuable and most of all, impactful. That scalable impact is proven by DeMar's mid-range stroke, as despite being a shooting liability from beyond the arc, the Spurs shot nearly 2% better on twos and threes with him on the court versus him off the court. And let's not overlook the marvels an accurate floater can do either. Also proven in the 2021 playoffs through the likes of Trae Young, Ja Morant, and many others. Ice Trae shot roughly 48.5% on all floaters throughout the 2021 season, as categorized on NBA.com, whereas Ja Morant shot 42.5%. Both are impressive marks, although Young's is in a historically remarkable group, both in terms of volume and accuracy. Back to the drop coverage. When it's used, the ball handler has, again, virtually a wide open shot around the 10 to 18 foot range. Next to the mid-range, a floater provides unpredictability and an extremely versatile arsenal for scorers, which defenses cannot possibly shut down all at once. Again, back to the meta value this provides. It opens up even more passing lanes for a Morant or a Young to dissect through defensive adjustments and gravity, especially when that floater is generating nearly a whole point per shot attempt, almost rivaling the efficiency of an average spot-up triple. It attacks a lot of attention and forces coaches to adjust their schemes even further. So, to summarize, all the offensive diversity and versatility, the gravity and meta impact, and opposing defensive conundrums an in-between game provides make the mid-range far from dead and an extremely potent trait a player can have. Let me know what you think. Hey there, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it and want to see more of it, click on any of the two things on your screen. If you want to support the channel, consider a like and hitting the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the graphics or my narration, check the social media links in the description below. But above all else, it's been me, Colin, and have a great rest of your day. Peace.